about December the 20th or 30th, around that time, that 10-day window, my HRV was fantastic. And then I went keto for about four or 5 weeks. For the entire time I was keto, my HRV was in the bin. And then I came out of keto and my HRV was still in the bin. And to be honest, it's only in the last 3 days, and we're in February now, we're like mid-February, when my HRV has started to recover. Yeah. And I was like, what the hell happened? Was it the keto that I did? Was it, I don't know.
Again, a lot to say on that. Depends on how far you want me to go down this road. I'm not surprised. I would love to see your blood work. I could probably tell you exactly what's happening from that. That will explain a lot of what's going on. The reason I'm saying that is we have seen many, many times situations which people are fatigued, HRV goes down, sleep, like we see all these issues, right? And you'll see kind of an interesting combination here. And I've used this example a lot because it's come up so many times where testosterone starts to go a little bit low. And you start looking at another thing called sex hormone binding globulin. It's one of the hormones, it's a sex hormone binding. Globulin is like a collection of proteins, right? So it's a protein that holds on to sex hormones like testosterone. So when that gets really, really high, the amount of free testosterone goes down. That's what free testosterone is, how much is not being globbed up. And so you see this combination of like sex hormone binding like globulin gets really high, testosterone gets super low. And then you start poking around and you look at insulin, and insulin's low. And you're like, oh, okay, great. And we know that there's a known association, there's an inverse relationship between sex hormone binding globulin and insulin. Okay. Now, could be a million things. You don't know. Anytime, like this is one of the reasons why I love blood chemistry so much, because it allows you to be a little bit of a detective. Now, you're always working off the human. You're always working off symptoms. You don't treat or coach blood markers. It's a bad way to go about it, right? But you're looking for clues. Okay. So you're looking around, you're poking around there. And like, trust me, like you can check the record. I've given this example plenty of times, so I'm not just saying this for you. It's just going to work. You're teaming me up, man. Like you just light me up here. So in this particular case, you think, okay, why is insulin low? Again, could be many, many, many things. So you start asking additional questions. But what we've seen a lot is you start poking around and looking at what carbohydrate intake is like. And if carbohydrate intake is insufficient and lower than what that person needs, now that number is different for every person, situation, all context. But if it's lower than what you need in that particular instance, then your insulin can start getting too low. As a result of that, sex hormone binding globulin goes up. As a result of that, testosterone starts going down. As a result of that, you start feeling the feelings of low testosterone. So the solution in that particular case, we give people carbohydrates. Do you know what it feels like when they have some carbohydrates back? Insulin starts going up, testosterone starts going up, they start feeling incredible. In addition, they start sleeping better, right? So we know there's an association between carbohydrate intake and serotonin concentrations. This is the molecule that helps you fall asleep at night. There's also meta-analyses that'll show a pretty tight correlation between carbohydrate intake and sleep onset and sleep quality. That is not at all to say you can't be ketone and sleep great. That is not at all to say you can't be in ketosis and have high testosterone. Absolutely possible. I'm not against it. We just see that one often enough to where this is a good example of it just didn't work for you in that situation. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean it doesn't work for anybody else or any other situation. Plenty of times to go after it. We actually just put one of our clients in our coaching program on a ketogenic diet for like a very specific brain health reason, actually, brain cancer. But nonetheless, the other times it's sort of like, okay, great. It's not working for you right now. Why isn't, how are you feeling? Not feeling there? How is your HRV? How is your sleep? How's your respiratory rate? How's your performance? How's your training? Like, I want to know all these things. How's your nutrition? In these particular cases, it's like, all right, sometimes as subtle as an additional 50 grams of carbohydrate at night. Wham. Feel amazing. Sleep goes up, testosterone goes way up, body composition doesn't change at all, right? You're not going to gain any additional fat as long as you reduce the calories elsewhere, right? And you feel great. So we use carbohydrates at night a lot, not like right before bed, but in your normal thing, high quality carbohydrates, as long as the total amount of carbohydrates throughout the day are accounted for, all that. So you're just switching. You're saying, okay, great. We're going to pull a little bit from morning or lunch, put a little bit more of that in the afternoon, and changing the order here if needed. And in that particular case, that's why I would love to have seen your blood work there. Yeah. I don't know that was happening, but that brought me up because we've seen that one so many times now where we're like, all right, just step back and watch here.
Without knowing having this sort of blood markers from me or having any tests done on me or anyone that's listening now, what are the first things you would look at? If I'm trying to whoop my friend's ass at HRV in our little HRV league table. What are the like fundamentals of HRV?
Are you sure you want me to tell? You want me to just tell you afterwards?
Yeah, no, because I can cut this out and no one needs to hear it. So I can know. Because this is a big thing. It's like a big thing in my family now. There's like a family league table. And then there's like my best friend's league table. Then me and my girlfriend. So I'm I'm losing right now because this bloody keto thing that I did.
It really, honestly, my honest answer, I hate to do this, but it does come back to what is your biggest anchor? So we're going to figure out, because this is going to be different for everybody. Let's assume you've eliminated all the, what we call 8-8 practices. All that stuff is gone. Okay, now we start getting to kind of level 2, like level B level things, all right? I would want to see what that respiratory rate looks like. I would want to see what's the sleep data actually look like. That's your starting place, no question. You want to think about it this way. Okay, maybe I'll back up. A little bit easier. When I go solve this problem, I'm using what's called first principles. Okay, so I'm going to the very, very fundamental things, saying what's causing stress and then what's causing stress relief. 2 sides of that equation. And I want to see what's going on. Where's the problem? Too much in or not handling enough of what we currently have? Immediate thoughts is 1 of 2 areas. So coming in, is there any changes we can make in your total stress that is a non-specific stressor, right? So things that are not helping you achieve an adaptation, that are not business, can we solve those things, right? Relationship wise, like, great. Something in the environment, like, is there some other non-specific? Are there any hidden stressors? If I can remove these hidden stressors, all of a sudden the stress bucket just got lowered. Now, all of a sudden you're automatically having an HRV. And so I'm going hunting, right? I'll take you through the full battery kit and caboodle, and I will find like, what are the non-specific stressors that are in there? And we're dialing those things up, okay? Let's assume you either can't do all that stuff or you've done all that. Now, how do we modify how we handle